Wow. Let's do a little taste test on it. If I can get you there. Hot. So. Ooh. That's hot. That's perfect.
Okay, so let's talk about Stephanie Jenkins because, honey, this woman just cannot seem to escape all the chatter about substance use anymore. And frankly, after witnessing her recent wild behavior, those erratic online posts, and the absolutely bizarre way she's been carrying herself in videos, can you really blame people for side-eyeing the situation? I mean, her content has gone completely off the rails lately, and her whole demeanor is giving off some serious red flags about what's really going on with her mental and emotional well-being. But here's where it gets really interesting. Stephanie completely flipped her entire video strategy recently. You know how she used to do those polished voiceovers that made everything sound so put together and intentional? Well, those days are ancient history now, girl. She's just throwing up raw footage with whatever audio happened to be recording, no editing, no second takes, just pure unfiltered chaos. She used to swear by those voiceovers, claiming they were her special way of truly expressing what was bubbling up inside her head. But the reality we're witnessing now? It's just her rambling in endless circles, going off on these completely random tangents that make absolutely zero sense to anyone listening. And then came that one clip that had everyone's jaws hitting the floor. She actually went on camera and straight up confessed that she was feeling completely awkward because her mind was just packed with so many racing, crowding thoughts that when she tried to speak, her brain literally just went blah blah. Like, that wasn't just some throwaway comment she casually dropped. That was someone basically admitting they can't even organize their own thoughts anymore, painting this really concerning picture of someone who's struggling hardcore to stay focused or even connect one thought to another. But wait. It gets even juicier because she drops this absolute bombshell claiming her kids won't be starting school for over a month, and we're all sitting here looking at our calendars showing it's mid-August, completely scratching our heads because literally everyone knows that in Portland, where this woman lives, pretty much every single school kicks off within the next couple of weeks. It makes you wonder, is she just generally misinformed about basic facts? Simply confused about dates? Or perhaps making some deliberate choice to intentionally delay their return to school? And speaking of those poor kids, can we talk about how that wait for school must feel absolutely endless after being trapped all summer long? These children have been confined to this tiny motel room with no documented trips to parks, no visits to local attractions, not even simple little outings for ice cream that she could have easily filmed for her videos. There's literally no sign of any special summer memories being created for them. Their entire world has shrunk down to these 4 cramped walls with sunlight creeping across the carpet, marking the slow passage of hours as they wait until the sun dips low enough before they're finally allowed to step outside, as if their day only truly begins when evening arrives. Just think about what that reality means for them. Multiple siblings of all different ages sharing this one confined space. There's this constant soundtrack of voices overlapping, kids calling out desperately for attention, playing loudly just to entertain themselves, sometimes fussing and acting out purely from boredom. You can actually hear it bleeding through in the background of her clips. This restless, chaotic soundtrack of daily life for these cooped-up children. School represents learning and friendships, but for Stephanie's kids, school might honestly be their one precious escape from being shut indoors all day long. Adding another layer to this mess, she casually mentioned they were forced to temporarily pack up and move out because of the motel's strict 20-day limit policy. This means hastily shoving everything into bags, staying one single night at some other location, then dragging everything right back the next day. For these kids, that brief, inconvenient shuffle was literally the closest thing to a vacation they experienced all summer long. Not a trip to the beach, not a visit to family members, just a one-night change of scenery before returning to those same suffocating walls. Now, Stephanie often repeats this claim that she keeps her living spaces absolutely spotless. But honey, what the camera actually shows tells a completely different story. The reality we're seeing is dishes scattered haphazardly across the floor, countertops buried under piles of clutter, laundry, and random items thrown out of place, and this lingering sense of disarray that never seems to disappear. This mess doesn't appear to be some rare accident either. It's video after video showing the same chaotic environment.
Okay, guys, we have just spent the night at the other motel. So I'm gonna try to do a little extra cleaning up tonight, and I'm gonna get everybody showered. I wanna try to get Bubba's hair. I've been just able to do just a ponytail, and that's excruciating because he just doesn't like his hair being messed with. But I wanna try really hard to part it at least in two and do like two braids. Wish me luck. I'm gonna finish cleaning. I just gotta get the floor done. I got start dinner and all that shenanigans.
Stephanie does not give a fuck. Like, she literally does not see anything wrong with her situation, her mother, and she does not give a fuck. The only thing Stephanie cares about is one, her filming content. Like, bitch, we don't give a fuck. Like, we don't care about you filming. We don't care about you elevating your filming content. Like, bitch, we care about you being a mother, okay? We care about you doing what you should be doing with the money that you and Drew are fucking receiving, and that is getting your children a bigger fucking space to live. That is taking your children to do fucking activities. And then for her to sit there in the fucking kitchen and take her hair down and do that old shakedown thing, flip up and flip it up right before she's about to cook and shit. Like, that shit is just so fucking disgusting. Like, she don't see, like, she don't have, like, mannerisms, like, decorum, like, nothing. Like, she has none of that shit. And then her talking about, I just like to do the voiceovers because, you know, it brings out my personality more. Bitch, how the fuck does the voiceovers bring out your personality? You're literally the same. Whether it's a voiceover, you're talking, it's still the same shit. You not doing what the fuck you should be doing for your children. We don't give a fuck about your mental health. We don't care about your personality, Stephanie. We don't care about your fucking content. We don't care about those raw ass steaks that you left for the fucking flies that was on the bitches for however long before you got back to them with that fucking video.
Adding to this concerning picture is the bathroom situation that's been dragging on for weeks. She explained it so matter-of-factly. The main light in the bathroom went out a few weeks ago. Yes, we reported it, but it's yet to be replaced. So we use our camping light, and during the night, we use the light you see on the ground here. Rather than spending maybe $3 on a replacement bulb, she's chosen to live with this dim, makeshift lighting situation, just waiting around for management to eventually act. This choice says volumes about her willingness to tolerate completely unnecessary inconvenience when the fix would be incredibly simple. Some possible long-term effects worth noting include her admitted difficulty concentrating. She openly admits her brain goes blah mid-thought, losing her focus in real time. Plus, there's her history of addiction. She's previously attended rehab, a background that could point to old struggles resurfacing under stress. When you see all these warning signs stacking up together, the unpredictable mood shifts, misplaced priorities, risky choices, and her own admissions about mental fog, it becomes harder to chalk it up solely to the stress of cramped living conditions. The questions grow louder and more urgent. Is there something deeper happening here? Perhaps a relapse or some other influence driving these changes beneath the surface? Now, shifting gears from Stephanie's ongoing drama, let's dive into this absolutely shocking story involving Hazel Boutique. TikTok creator Beauty Heart shared this stopping, highly detailed account about an incident at the Hazel Cafe in New Jersey. One that she says started as an ordinary family outing, but quickly turned into something far more alarming and traumatic. According to her version of events, she had planned what should have been a simple, relaxing afternoon with her 3-year-old daughter and her 70-year-old mother. They decided to treat themselves to coffee and ice cream, a lovely, wholesome activity meant to create pleasant memories together. The cafe atmosphere at first felt calm and inviting, with that comfortable hum of quiet conversation and gentle clinking of cups. She settled her mother and daughter at a table, making sure they were comfortable before stepping up to the counter to place their order. But then, without any warning whatsoever, that peaceful calm was completely shattered. Right in the middle of her ordering, a deafening crash ripped through the cafe, instantly drawing every single eye in the room. Her heart dropped into her stomach as she whipped around to find the source of that terrifying noise. What she saw absolutely froze her in place. A massive marble table had tipped over and fallen, landing just inches from where her daughter had been sitting moments earlier. This wasn't just any piece of furniture we're talking about. It was a 600-pound slab of marble, the kind of weight that could easily crush a person in an instant. The sight of it lying there on the ground, coupled with the horrifying thought of what could have happened if it had tipped in the other direction, hit her like a physical punch. She knew without a doubt that if her daughter had been even slightly closer, the outcome could have been unimaginably tragic. She described that moment as one of pure, stomach-churning fear, the kind that leaves your entire body cold and your mind racing frantically. The sound of the crash, the collective gasps from nearby tables, and the stunned silence that followed are details she says will never leave her memory. Her immediate instinct was to get her daughter to the hospital without any delay, to make absolutely sure she hadn't suffered any unseen injuries from the shock or debris. But before she could even take a step toward the door, she says the cafe owner blocked her path and demanded $1,600 on the spot, citing some strict "you break it, you buy it" policy. On top of that demand, they insisted she hand over copies of her driver's license, her credit card, and even her husband's card information as security. According to her account, what followed was this intense, drawn-out standoff that felt like it lasted forever, but in reality, stretched on for nearly an hour, during which she felt completely trapped inside the cafe with no way out. Every tick of the clock seemed to slow down as the dispute dragged on, each tense exchange with the staff making her pulse race faster and faster. Her elderly mother sat hunched at the table, shoulders trembling, tears silently falling down her cheeks, her face etched with deep embarrassment and raw distress from being at the center of such a public spectacle.
Wow. Let's do a little taste test on it. If I can get you there. No. Ooh. That's hot. That's perfect.
The combination of public humiliation, genuine fear for her child's safety, and the relentless emotional strain of being scrutinized from every corner made her feel cornered, helpless, and suffocating. Finally, drained beyond words and laser-focused on getting her daughter checked at the hospital, she gave in to their demands, not because she agreed with them, but because she felt it was the only way they would finally let her walk out that door with her family. The tone of their statement gave the distinct impression that they were pushing back hard against the mother's version of events, almost implying she was exaggerating or even fabricating details for attention. But here's the million-dollar question. If their version of events is entirely accurate and above board, why take the time to scrub their own social media footage that so clearly showed the table's obvious instability? Why not leave it up as concrete proof that there was nothing to hide? And why would a mother voluntarily share such a detailed, emotional, and traumatic account publicly, knowing it would invite endless scrutiny, possible skepticism, and harsh questions if there truly was nothing questionable about what happened? The more you think about it, the more these contradictions raise serious eyebrows and hint at a deeper effort to control the narrative rather than simply clarify the facts honestly. In the days since this story broke, Hazel Boutique's Google rating has plummeted to an alarming 1.3 stars. The review section isn't just sprinkled with a few critiques. It's absolutely flooded with page after page of angry, detailed accounts from former customers, locals, and even people who admit they've never visited but were so put off by this story that they vow never to step inside. Many reviews echo the same sentiment: that this incident, coupled with the defensive public statement, has permanently damaged their trust in the establishment. The backlash has snowballed far beyond just a passing wave of online outrage, embedding itself as a lasting and potentially permanent stain on the cafe's public image that will be incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to completely erase. The Hazel Boutique incident didn't just end with trauma for one family. It ignited this massive chain reaction online that transformed into a full-blown reputational crisis for the cafe. Even beyond the immediate drop in ratings and that flood of scathing reviews, the story became a major talking point across TikTok, Facebook, and local community boards. People weren't just outraged by the alleged treatment of the mother and her family. They were absolutely stunned at how quickly a business could shift from serving coffee to demanding personal documents and payment under such tense, traumatic circumstances. Those deleted videos showing the wobbling marble tables became a major focal point of discussion online. Viewers dissected the clips frame by frame, pointing out that the instability was glaringly obvious and dangerous, with some even sharing similar scary experiences they'd had at other locations. The fact that there were multiple identical unstable tables added serious weight to the argument that this wasn't an isolated incident, but a systematic oversight in basic customer safety. Hazel Boutique's defensive statement may have been intended to calm the raging backlash, but for many people, it only amplified their suspicions and anger. For any hospitality business, that kind of deep mistrust can be absolutely devastating to long-term success. In the end, this entire incident stands as a stark reminder of how quickly public perception can turn, and how in our age of viral social media, one negative interaction can become a long-term nightmare for reputation management. Whether the complete truth lies entirely with the mother's detailed account, the cafe's defensive version, or somewhere in between those two narratives, the damage to Hazel Boutique's reputation appears to be done. Looking at these two very different stories, there's one common thread running through both. Actions and choices, whether from an individual like Stephanie or a business like Hazel Boutique, have real lasting consequences that extend far beyond the immediate moment. When behavior consistently raises questions and concerns, people pay attention, they remember, and they talk. Thanks for sticking with me through these deep dives into some truly concerning situations. Whether it's the personal choices of a TikTok mom under increasing scrutiny, or a cafe facing the fallout of what appears to be a public relations disaster, these stories demonstrate that accountability isn't optional in today's connected world. Let's keep watching, questioning, and talking about what we see, because these conversations matter and they can lead to real change. That's it for today. See you in the next video. Bye, and don't forget to subscribe.